What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. As you can see, we are in Efootball. I just began. Don't even have a fifth game in my division yet. Undefeated for now, which is great. Have some losses in events. Without a doubt, I've had some insanely good moments, right? Insanely good football. Have played the rats, have seen the nonsense, have had those frustrating moments where you're like, why is smart assist in the game? Why is this in the game? Why are players able to do this? That the same thing you're going to get from every football game without a doubt. Now, I want to quote my boy Kami, who is in my Discord. Great player, great person, right? Ton of knowledge. And I want to read this because he's right about everything except for one thing, which I responded on Discord. But for those of you who aren't on Discord, I want to make sure that I say this to you guys as well, because this is very, very important to note before you put your time into any game, right? Well, that is if it's between FC and eFootball, okay? So let's say you're an FC player, and like me, you've been playing for years, and let's say you've never even touched eFootball, but every single year with FC for the past several years, as far back, it's been so long now that you can't remember when it started, right? You get the terrible gameplay. One game might be good, the next 5 are terrible. Then 10 games in a row aren't unplayable, but they're not very good either. So you're able to play, but you're not able to play it the way the game's supposed to be played. And then the next day, you might get one good day, which, by the way, has not happened even once. Since the beta, there hasn't been, if you do it by percentage, there hasn't been a day where there's 100% good gameplay. And that goes for most everybody. I mean, even the top creators that are playing with ridiculously good gameplay compared to others. Nick runs a foot market, for example. He'll play in single-digit ping, which is unheard of. And you can just tell how responsive his gameplay is, right? And even he has been talking about the heavy gameplay, which to him it might not even be that bad. Like, to us, his heavy gameplay may be like our great gameplay. And when I say our, I mean a vast majority of the millions and millions that play this game, because when you read the comments across the board, you could tell the minority are the people who have good gameplay. The exception, not the rule. The rule is you turn on FC 26 or 25 or 24, 23 or 22, and you have no idea what kind of gameplay you're going to get, but you can bet your bottom dollar that it's not going to be good, right? It might be playable, but it's not going to be good, right? So that's where eFootball comes in, because in eFootball, you turn the game on and you're all but guaranteed good gameplay. There's going to be the glitchy moments, right? But for the most part, you're going to get good gameplay. And you're going to play players that aren't even close as near as you as FC, right? Obviously, there's more players in FC, which means they should have better gameplay, if anything, because the proximity isn't as far. You're a lot of times connecting through the same server, even pinging off the same server, which absolutely helps. But you could play a player from Mexico and the United States, from Japan and the United States. You play players all over, and it's still good gameplay outside of a few glitchy moments, okay? And that right there is the one thing that keeps me from going back to FC 26 this year, right? And I say this year because every single year I've given them chances. Every single year EA Sports has ignored the issue, and I was like, they eventually got to address it. Well, guess what? Going into FC 26, they did address the issue, but it was smoke and mirrors. Yes, they made the game less lethargic than last year. Yes, they added these animations that fill in the gaps that were making the game feel a little bit delayed. Yes, it's faster passing. All that seemed like it did fix the issue. That's what they told us. And in the beta, it was 100% correct. I was dumb enough to think, okay, perfect. Look, the beta's good, so it's going to be good. I wish I knew there was one person in particular that said, yeah, we'll just wait till everyone gets onto the servers at full release. It's going to be terrible again. That person was right. And I'm not saying that's rocket science, right? I just was probably in denial. I probably knew in the back of my mind. And if not, I should have known that it was going to go back to the same. But that player called it, and the player was correct, because the gameplay went right back to being terrible. So Kami, here he says, that's what I've been trying to tell y'all. And whenever you get tired of the Smart Assist BS, which is the biggest piece of nonsense in eFootball, right? Anything where the AI is making your decisions, correcting what would be mistakes on your end that would cost you goals, the passes, defensive plays, and they fix it to where you don't get punished for your lack of skill. That's insanity, right? And the fact that you can use it in every mode, without a doubt, that really, really puts a damper on eFootball. He says, whenever you get sick of it, and everything else in between, that's when you go back to FC26. Every football game has their problems. None of them are perfect. I play each one for different reasons. FC26 rewards you the most, which is 100% true, just for playing. You don't have to spend money on it. You just play and grind like it's a true, if you want it to be this way, like it's a true road to glory, right? eFootball is the most realistic, in my opinion, which is 100% accurate, right? The most realistic animations, the most realistic speed of play, movement, the most realistic weight of players. Like when the players are moving, it doesn't look like air hockey pucks running all over and the ball isn't zooming across the pitch like it's an air hockey puck. I love the creativity you make and the feeling of scoring realistic goals in eFootball, and that's 100% true too. It's much more satisfying scoring goals in eFootball, without a doubt. But then, like you said, there's problems in every game. For instance, the defense in eFootball is totally unrealistic, total nonsense. You can tell they were trying to cater to the casuals, just like with Smart Assists and everything else, cater to the lower skilled players. And they made this monstrosity of a defensive system because defense is a very hard thing to learn. It's very hard to jockey and keep up with these shifty attackers and then know when to push players out wide, know when to commit to a tackle or not. And so they did the crazy AI assistance where the defender essentially gets a speed boost and just goes 100 miles an hour at the player with the ball. Or you can press X and the player you're controlling just beelines for the player with the ball. It's ridiculous, right? The lack of sprint jockey, just having regular jockey, it's just what you're meant to do to be successful defensively is not football defense, okay? So these types of things exist in eFootball. But the one thing that my boy Kami didn't account for was what I just spent a few minutes talking about and what I've talked about plenty in the past, which is the inconsistent gameplay. That is an issue that you can't battle. For instance, you can still beat your opponents in eFootball if they use Smart Assist. There's also that super OP diagonal through ball that essentially just allows attackers to zoom past your defenders. You could have great defensive positioning. If you want to see details, look at my latest video talking about stopping Smart Assist passes, right? Now, I didn't tie this to Smart Assist, right, or link up play because it doesn't have to be in link up play, but apparently it is tied to Smart Assist, right? First, I thought it was a link up play type of pass, but it's not. You simply play the ball to your wing, play a diagonal through ball, and no matter where your attacker is, a vast majority of the time they're going to win the battle to get to the ball. A defender could have a clear head start, could clearly, visibly be on their way to winning the ball, and the attacker will just, boom, come out of nowhere and take it. I showed some examples of this even defensively, too, where a Smart Assist defender is able to make certain plays that attackers won't. But you can battle back. As stupid as it is, you can man mark those players to try to take that diagonal pass away, which is what I recommend that you do, and it works out great, right? You don't have to play a meta setup. I saw what the meta looks like with it's a 3-2-3-2 and the left and right midfielders playing those diagonals. Haven't touched that. I've been doing just fine. And by the way, playing players in Division 3, you play players in Division 2 and 1 as well. From Division 3 up, you get a ranking. I've played Division 1 players. I played top Division 1 players. Even in the events, I've played a top 1,000 player since coming back and have held my own, won games against them, the whole nine, right? Like, I haven't lost one divisions, but even the events games that I did lose, some of them were, if not all of them maybe, were not against the top-ranked, good players. They were against, the Smart Assist abusers. Now, what does Smart Assist abuse mean? If you spam a certain pass that you know Smart Assist is taking over and making sure. If you spam a certain shot that you know Smart Assist is going to take over and correct for you. If you're not trying to play football where Smart Assist annoys you, right? Because it's going to annoy you. If you're actually trying to play football with your own skill, Smart Assist will annoy you. Now, here's the reason why many players have to use it, right? And this is where EAFC has the advantage, okay? But again, even when I'm talking about this, remember in the back of your head, if you think, well, why not play FC? Then it's better because it is a better game. That's just the truth. Do I want it to remain that way? No, because it's terrible. I don't want to go play air hockey. I don't want to know that the descendant of Pez is this trash, right? It can be much better, and you still see the roots of the game and can play good football. But the reason why you're almost forced to use smart assist in some instances is because, let's say you're in a breakaway, you choose to go near post, and the opponent did a good job, they guessed correctly, and they would have saved the shot. Smart assist being on will change that shot to the far post. You'll score when you otherwise wouldn't. Say you were about to pass a ball, right, and the opponent reads it and they get in the passing lane, you would have played them the ball and they might have went in and scored on you after that. The smart assist being on will see that opponent and then play a ball through the air or to a different target. It stops you from making mistakes you would make. So they absolutely need to get rid of it. Let's hope they do. But no matter how many of these things I go through, right, at the end of the day, the consistent gameplay versus the nonsense you have to turn on with FC, right, is where eFootball is going to win out every single time. It is the most frustrating thing in the world to not know what type of gameplay you're going to get. Forget about the opponent and their skill level. You're just hoping that you can pass and shoot and dribble without being so far delayed that it wouldn't matter who you play because you're going to lose, right? And that's what you have to do every game. Not to mention it's not always consistent. It will change throughout the game. It's not equal. Just because you're delayed doesn't mean your opponent is, so you'll have someone zipping past you, moving full speed while you're just fighting for your life to complete a pass. The gameplay is why eFootball is really the only option, no matter how much you despise all this trash I'm talking about that's in eFootball, and it no doubt is there, right? But because all this made me not even think about eFootball as a game, I wouldn't even talk about it. If you go to my videos leading up to this, I wouldn't even mention it. No, smart assist and all that, the trash that I'm talking about, made it to where it's pointless, in my opinion. The only reason I came here is because the terrible gameplay at FC, and I'm not a player that can have it where I don't play football. But I'm extremely glad that I did, because I found along the way that you can battle all this nonsense that I'm talking about. You can't battle the bad gameplay, right? If it's bad enough, it doesn't matter how much better than your opponent you're going to be, you will lose the game. That's just a fact. So, if this rings a bell, whether you've played eFootball and got so annoyed and left, right, which I understand, or you just haven't even touched eFootball, but you're ridiculously annoyed with FC 26 and the terrible gameplay, and you've been dealing with it and nothing happens, and nothing's going to happen, unfortunately. EA Sports hasn't even addressed this head on. And so you're just going to keep repeating the same it's insanity, right? What do they say insanity is? Repeating the same thing over and over, the same way, and expecting different results. That's what you're doing by playing FC. Your frustration is going to continue. You're going to continue getting those terrible lag matches, right? Fighting to just get one match that you consider a good match, and it's not even really a good match. It's just, I can move without total delay. I have a chance to beat these players that I'm much better than, instead of just automatically losing, right? If you're sick of that, give eFootball a try. Learn the basics. You'll see for yourself the true to football nature of the game. You'll see the roots if you've ever played PES. If not, give it a try and you'll learn how realistic and how satisfying and rewarding this game can be. That's when you have to decide then which game's worth it. And if you're at eFootball, you just have to be ready to battle the rats just like in FC and any other game. And there's ways to do that. But I just wanted to point that out because I'm a player that's gone from game to game to game looking for the best football game, and Kami's no doubt right. Every game will annoy you to the point where you want to go to a different game. And because there's so much manual ability, and because EA Sports at least did a good job removing the trash can shots, like finesse shots from certain angle, they got rid of those. The one-time power shots were once a meta. They got rid of that, right? The corner kicks are still rough, but at least you can defend them. But they got rid of all that. They made defending more manual. You can call players to, send players on run, player lock. All these manual controls make it to where FC's the more attractive game, right? And there's no doubt that eFootball should make a lot more things controlled by the user instead of AI taking control. That's what one of the many things they did to try to be attractive as a choice of a game for the casuals, for the lower skilled players. The AI does it for you, so you don't need to have that skill, right? And it's nonsense. But again, every time, the consistent gameplay. So keep that in mind. If you're just extremely frustrated and FC becomes a chore to play, it's not fun anymore. You have to like literally fight yourself to get you to even play rivals or champs or anything. Give eFootball a try. Now, I want to end it with this. There's one reason only that I didn't mention UFL. It's not out of disrespect, it's just out of the facts. And the facts are, it's a ruined game. I started my channel around UFL. I had tons of tons of hope for the game. I felt like it had a lot of promise at initial release. But when you're in development for like a decade, which UFL has been, and you can't even get rid of a couple simple glitches that have been in the game from day one, right? Then it's time to move on, right? I mean, let's just be honest. It's time to move on. So keep eFootball in mind. If you've never played it, give it a try. If you've played it and all these things have drove you crazy, stick to it a little bit more, right? Learn how to battle back on some of the nonsense and see how it goes. And just see how you enjoy the consistent gameplay, the type of football you can play if you're anything like me and just love true to football, just playing the beautiful game the way it's supposed to be played. I don't see any world where you don't stick to eFootball. And trust me, if you watch my past videos, I've overlooked eFootball. I've came and left frustrated. I still do get and will continue to get frustrated at this game. But it's just the number one game. That's just the truth, like it or not, right? So the only thing you can do then, besides joining and playing, is speaking up over here and trying to make this game better. Trying to speak up about the nonsense that needs to be removed, right? If enough people do that, just like with FC and all the changes that were made from 25 to 26, which is a way bigger company, more successful, right? EA Sports, and they still listened. If enough players speak up, not just, oh, well, they're not going to listen anyway. No. If enough players speak up, show the nonsense, talk about what needs to be fixed, right? Konami will have to answer this. Period. If it gets loud enough, the developer, no matter, I don't care if they're in Japan or not, they're going to hear it from the people all over the world complaining about the same thing, and they're going to get to fixing the game. Period. So keep that in mind. Just wanted to point that out as we continue forward on our newest journey in eFootball. Now, I wanted to get to something very important, right? When eFootball is played at the highest level, it is a beautiful thing. It's the most rewarding feeling when you go in to play eFootball and you play the game the right way, and some of the build-up, right? Some of the creativity, some of the goals you can score, all of it. The defensive plays, I would say, are the one thing that 99% of the time are nonsense, because the defensive system, if you will, in eFootball, it just is too unrealistic. But when you put the whole game together from build-up, defending, attack, everything, especially with the best players, which in this case we're watching Jay Victor, one of the best to ever play eFootball, you can see the beauty of this game, and it really is motivating. So shout out to my boy Phil Mo. He's the one who put me on to Jay Victor, and he actually sent me, it was either this or a different video. But I want you to check this out. I want you to pay attention to the details, and I'll stop it along the way. You see his team, of course. He's pay to play. He's a top-level player. Of course he's going to be. Many of the same players we all have. Like, for instance, I had that same Hullet card. Lost that account for something related to FC, but I have a different version of Vieira, right? He has Carlos and Walker. I have Thuram and Maldini. He has Thuram as well, but it's center back. And then right card, I have Van Dijk's special card, latest special card. And then Beckenbauer, right? I got that same Bellingham card as well, but I pull mine off the bench. And then he's got 2 AMFs. I have where Bellingham's at. I play that as a third attacking mid. Nope, I play 2 AMFs, but then I play a 3-pronged attack. I really do like how he plays though with the 4-2-2. I actually looked at this yesterday with playing Bellingham in the same spot and decided against it. But very similar to how I play. 1 defensive mid, but instead of 2 cams and then 3 forwards, right? 2 on the wing SSs, and then I even play Eto SS, different Eto. He goes with the 4-2-2. It's just his DM and his CM are flat. So this will be interesting. I really like this look. I could easily do this. I know many of you could too, depending on the players you have. But that's the beauty of eFootball. You don't have to use this exact same meta, exact same style. Even if you really like the way Jay Victor plays, you could try it out. But that's the beauty of it. You can tie, how you want to play. You can match it with how you want to play. I know there is such thing as a meta in eFootball, but if you have skill enough, you can get away with playing how you want to play. Notice he's not doing the old 3-2-3-2 with left and right midfielders, right? Not at all. And this is what? How recently was this? Let's check. 5 months ago. So maybe, the meta changed and everything, but that's okay. 5 months ago, to me, this is still extremely viable. I mean, you see how I play similar. As far as the setup goes, with 1 DM and then your central figures in the attack. But let's just see how he does. This isn't about necessarily tactics. This is about checking out the skill and seeing what eFootball can be, going from watching me in Division 3 to watching a top player in the world, right? And it gives you something to aspire to, which is excellent, right? When you have something to work towards, that is great. And I just realized the entire time talking, I was not on the correct screen. But that is okay, because there you have it right here. See the players I was talking about. You see the setup he's in. Like I said, you compare that. I'll go into my squad real quick. Compare that to my squad. 3-pronged attack. He goes 2 forwards. We both have 2 AMFs. Mine are more centralized, though. Both have 1 DMF, and it's Vieira. Different Vieira card, but Vieira. But then he has a CMF. Right? So pretty similar. I'm interested to see how this goes. And let's take a look at one of the best in the world do it and break down the game as we go. Oh, there he goes, switching it up. Didn't give him enough time. He's playing them flat. Let's see what else he changes. Because remember, a lot of the times, you're changing based on your opponent, right? Like if I play a player that is constantly going for the... Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Constantly going for that... like he's got right now Neymar as a left mid. If I see that and he's constantly going to play that ball from, let's say, Neymar to Eto, okay, then I'm going to man mark Neymar. So what I would do is either on one side I just put a left mid instead of having 2 outside SSs as sort of wingers / forwards. I'd have my right side, which would be actually Bellingham. I added right mid position, and he would man mark Neymar. He still can get up and down the right side, but he's going to be able to take that pass out, a lot of times, make it uncomfortable. If he's playing those balls on both sides, let's say he moved Messi to right midfield, well, then I would put Serginho on the left. So now I would have 4 backs, 1 defensive mid in Vieira, left and right mids with Serginho and Bellingham, right? And then I'd have my 2 cams, Platini and Baggio, and then 1 striker in Eto. So my system would change depending on what my opponent's doing, how much I respect him. Do I want them to have to change for me? Or do I respect them enough I'm going to change according to how they're playing just to try to knock out a extremely strong attack? Those are the things you got to decide, right? All right. So as we break this game down, Jay Victor, again, one of the best in the world. This is what his opponent is playing. A 4-2-1-3. All right. We just saw the changes that he made based on whether it's what his opponent's playing or if this is just what he wanted to change to, right? He had at the start Vieira defensive mid, Bellingham flat, but in front of Vieira, right? Then he had two cams with Messi and Neymar. Now he moved Neymar to left mid, Messi still at AMF, and of course two center forwards and Hull at Neto. So we're going to look for the adjustments he makes along the way. We're going to look at his play style, how he translates this 4-2-2, especially against the opponent and what his opponent's playing. Because the goal is to see what it takes to be one of the best in the world, right? How much true to football action do you see compared to, let's call it like Efootball nonsense, okay? Spammed through balls, spammed crosses, this and that. Are you going to see that? Because I've seen that from some top players. Then I've seen great football, and then I've seen a mix. So, you see here, we'll wait till he makes this decision. He's going real quick. All right, no idea how to speak, whatever. I think that's Portuguese because he's Brazilian, right? But either way, he's setting up his individual instructions. You can translate that from Portuguese if you really want to. Doing something with Hullet there. Doing something, I mean, just the quickness he makes his changes in individual instructions is scary. I know based on what Phil told me that's going to translate into ridiculously fast decision making on the pitch. I'm extremely excited to watch this because eFootball is one of those games that can be absolutely beautiful, right? It can be absolutely beautiful. It can get ugly too, but that's what you have to work towards, right? A game where you have something to work towards, that means everything. Otherwise, the game can get pointless.
Well, hello.
And heading into this game, I want to read this quote to you from FC26 because this really puts things into perspective as to why eFootball is the game to play right now, why I'm playing the game, and why many, if they really are honest with themselves and really give eFootball a chance, many are going to make the same decision. But here we go. Why is FC26 so boring for many players? Well, here's how you score goals in FC26. Passing / spamming through balls, right? Here's how you don't score goals in FC26. Dribbling, because it's not responsive enough with the buffed up defense. Long shots no longer can go in at all. Crossing or heading. Running through with speed boost because there is no speed boost. Or power shots. None of these give you a viable way to score goals. It feels like every game is the same experience with the same boring goals and the same boring outcomes. We need variety in gameplay and different ways to score. Now, once you add into that there's always that one formation that you have to use because it dominates everything else, so you're using it, your opponents are using it. There's the meta players with the meta body type, the meta run styles, the meta play styles, so everyone's got the same or similar players as well, and it truly becomes the most boring experience, totally monotonous, and all you're doing is playing a bunch of rats that just want to get the next rewards to get the same exact players, right? Just different names. It is ridiculous. So I want you to remember that while you watch this football match with Jay Victor against another top player in the world, because this is what you can aspire to get to and play towards in eFootball. And maybe this will answer the question as to why I'm here right now and why many of you, if you're not playing eFootball, should give it a go.
Welcome one and all. It's a pleasure of it you find yourself on.
Here we
Have
go.
a grand mass of noise and colour, and the juices are flowing. And nobody in this atmosphere can hide from the truth about how much this game matters. The scene overflows with colour and passion. Things have got underway here pretty promptly. Eto, great chance!
Oh my goodness.
Wasn't in the mood to take any risks.
Our guy Jay Victor's in the red.
Brazil do have a chance to counter here. Succumbs to the pressure. And we're not going to make any further progress now.
Beautiful football, love it.
Well, Peter, you'd have to go a long way to find a defender who works harder than Araujo. So fast.
Both players playing beautiful football, I love it.
Especially in 2022 in Spanish football's biggest game.
When he scored one of his team's 4 goals. In the end, though, the men from Madrid went on to win the season by a pretty big...
Look at the passing and movement. Look at the quick decision making. Look at all the super cancels.
Messi going face to face with his great rival.
Mistake there. Force that pass.
And he's made sure that's not getting through. And he's there to belt it away.
Jay Victor just gets it out. Nice ball. We try to get it up in the air to hold it. Another just clearance. Interesting. Eto's an absolute beast. I know I have a different version of Eto, but what a goal. Now what I'm interested in, did I get it backwards? Pro player Brazil, Jay Victor. Okay. This player, Yaya, the one that I showed you, okay, he is playing against Jay Victor. Jay Victor is now down 1-0. So I had it backwards, just to be clear. I should have realized that too, because Jay Victor is wearing the Brazil squad kits, of course, but that didn't necessarily matter. So this Yaha, another very good player, just went up 1-0. He is playing the 4-2-2, and he just went up. And Jay Victor, a top player in the world, my boy Phil loves him, said he's a great player, plays great football. They both have been so far. And so he's down 1-0. Let's see how he responds.
Gratefully received.
You see there, he's getting dominated overall, but it's 1-0.
Brazil are already chasing the game. They didn't envisage that.
Now, I want you to take a look at our guy, the guy whose channel this is. He's on double blue, but he is playing one of the best to ever do it. Okay, so, I mean, the way Phil talked about this guy, he's like the Pele of eFootball. And I feel we're going to see that. I love all the super cancels. I mean, there's a million of them. A million super cancels.
Messi. And the two sides separated by the game's only breakthrough moment to this point.
Try to force it. You could tell the guy in the red's playing with some nerves, and it's so funny because, you know, you start noticing these things, and like at first I thought that was Jay Victor, but now it makes way more sense. If you watch it back, you'll see what I'm saying. This guy's obviously a very good player, content creator, but he knows he's playing against one of the best, and that's absolutely obvious. Certain mistakes. Nice set play. One of my favorite things in eFootball are the set plays. I've scored some beauties. I love the set plays. Nice dribbling, but nice defense, right?
He evidently loves the contest. It's a crossfield ball towards the other flank.
Nice ball in, nice try.
Decent clearance.
Well, that was well positioned.
Playing that double blue can be tough.
With their backs to goal.
Roberto Carlos out of position, but he gets that. He might be man marking. I didn't see the instructions there. He is probably what he did is put man marking on.
Nicely intercepted. Neymar will not want to lose out here.
He could get punished here. Vieira to Messi.
Deservedly decorated with
In the hole, back to Messi. Messi. Oh, Carlos has been solid.
Carlos gets it clear.
Here's Maldini. Same back that I have. Without a doubt, the best defensive left back, without a doubt. Messi, Vieira, back to Messi. Hole it. Oh, ho, ho.
And they've caught Reed. Neymar. Oh, that looks a cracking ball. Well timed, excellent interception. Well, there is a look that says it all. A piercing stare.
So far, the red player, I'm going to call him. I don't mean any disrespect. I know he's a great player. I just don't know him. And if I look, he may be like Filipino, kind of like... I could be totally wrong. Is he Japanese there? Japanese, I'm sorry. Or I really don't know. I truly don't know. You guys can look it up. You've seen his name there. You can pause and go to his channel. Great give and go. Great movement. Vieira joining the attack. Pirlo, look at all those super cancels. Great stuff. Oh, ho, ho. That double blue is proving to be an absolute nightmare.
Brazil looking to pass their way through.
Oh, there it is. Off the rebound. You have to say it's deserved, though. Look at the build-up, though, to get to this. Oh, he tried to read the pass. And then the rebound goal. 1-1.
A pretty decent watch this.
Now, while we talk about this, while they go through, and I'll actually let it play, I'll mute this, and I want to do something here. I'm playing against the AI here, okay? I'm going to pause it. I'm going to take control, because I was finishing up. Might as well get some rewards while you're playing. But I want to take over, because I want you guys to watch, as I talk about that first half, the difference between a player at my level and some of the best in the world. You see Vieira, Beckenbauer there, there's Thuram. All these players are in these guys' team. There's Maldini there. So one thing you notice, right? Well, you definitely wouldn't notice a bad pass like that from them. Is a lot of the super cancels, right? Already, quickly, my opponent, who's AI, by the way, and it's Division 4. This is my first ever AI league game of this season, because I haven't been playing AI divisions. But you notice the quickness of their decision making, and everything's so I'm doing a fake shot there, but everything's a super cancel. Everything's feints, super cancel. Everything, right? Everything they do. Quick movements, they're not ever taking too much time. How many times are they running and super canceling, towards the ball and making runs? I'm surprised that I didn't see as many skill moves, right? Surprised at that for sure. Did a little move there. But you just see the difference in what they're able to do. The pass connections they make, how quick they're moving, right? Their decision making, when to dribble, when not to dribble. And what I noticed too when I'm attempting to play quicker, right, is my decision making process isn't nearly theirs, right? That's one huge thing. Like They're making the right decisions over and over and over and over. I'm surprised I didn't get that one. And they're making them quick. So as I'm trying to play quicker to just emulate the best I can, that was a total accident, right? I'm making more mistakes because my mind isn't working that quick. So that's one thing that they're doing that's stellar. Two, just the way they manipulate the movement of their players is incredible, right? Good. Come two. Boom. Good. Oh, too slow. See, I couldn't get the opening going. So, as you watch this second half, right, you might want to do this yourself too. Because sometimes you need that little refresher. Because it's almost like watching pros in any sport and you see them on TV and it's like they make it look so easy. You forget the challenge of what they're doing, right? Not to say that was a bad goal. That was a beautiful ball through. And you can play beautiful football at you know, all levels. You don't have to play at the very highest level. But when you see the game and you see the movement and everything at the highest level, it truly is impressive. So on that note, I just want you to kind of see the difference real quick as I talked a little bit about it. But watch the decision-making speed, right? Watch how many good passes and good plays they make compared to mistakes. Even with the player in red on double blue, watch the way Jay Victor creates space and creates opportunities, even against essentially the Great Wall of China in front of him, right? It's insane. So let's get back to it.
Number 99, substitutions taking place.
Oh, good steal. He just read
Still
it.
1-1.
60 minutes played.
60 minutes in.
Ronaldinho. Indonesia perhaps wondering what the best time is for their next substitution. Maldini.
This is the time you need that pace.
Mateus. Eto.
Nice turn there. Good ball. Oh, my goodness. I'm surprised.
Play for
He might have made, fat-fingered it there, but I'm surprised he didn't go the other direction. So let's take a look at what he's going to change, right? All right. So he's still in the 4-2-2, but he just a second ago. Let's see this again real quick. All right, so first thing he does, he goes and takes a look at his opponent, who's playing now. He matched it with the 4-2-2. Okay. Now what's he going to go to? Same thing, a little wider though. But he basically mirrored his opponent. So let's see what the player in red does, who's also a very high level player. Just changing some individual instructions. Maybe a counter target on Holland. So he's making his substitutions. Neymar's coming out for Rumenige. And Messi is coming out for Figo. And I like how he looks back because the opponent could be changing, right? You got to check. So he made sure he didn't make any changes. So we got a mirror match, 4-2-2, which I love because, well, no, this is months ago, though. We'll have to watch a more recent game as well. But I wanted to just point this out, just to see the high-level gameplay.
Indonesia have now used up all but one of their substitution windows. Challenge just a bit on the firm side. He ran himself into trouble there. Free kick given away. And he has shown him a yellow card. It's just beyond his reach. For a moment you felt that was going somewhere, but they'll have to go again.
And you can make little rules for yourself as well. Like, so they're making such fast decision making. You can make, go into AI leagues, right? Divisions, as they say, and challenge yourself to make all one-touch passes. Challenge yourself to make all two-touch passes. Right? If you're with a buddy, have them call it out. 1, 2, dribble. 1, 2, dribble. 3 touch. You can do that. Settle pass or just one touch. 3 touch might be a little harder in the game, but you could do 1, 2, and then he could tell you to dribble. And even if it's in a tough spot, you're just making the decision on the fly very quickly, right? While you're listening to the commands. All things you can do to work on improving your decision making. These are all beautiful things that you can get better at, right? No, there's not a million different rewards. No, there's not a million different modes. But just climbing alone and playing and competing in divisions and events is enough, because there's so much to work on in this game to get to this highest level, right? And I'm not saying there isn't an FC, but FC is not centered on the football and getting better. Everything's about rewards. If anything, players over there want to demote themselves and go down so it's easier to get rewards. You see it all the time. It's ridiculous. It's a waste. It's a joke. Football should be the centerpiece at all times, right? And working on getting to this level or a level similar, or just wherever you can, right? That's the challenge, because football's the focus in eFootball. Not the rewards, not the objectives or champs and getting this many wins. It's just playing football, period. There it is. Wow. Look at how many players his opponent has in the box. Beautiful ball. Look at this. Look at those fakes, guys. I want to talk about this. How many players would have faked that many times there? I mean, the literal patience right there is almost insane. Not almost, it is insane. All right. Let's go back just a little more. Are you ready? Watch the patience to make sure there's no mistake here. It's the 80th minute. He might not get another one of these chances. His opponent's playing super defensively. Now watch this. The patience. Beautiful ball. Watch this. 1 fake, 2 fakes, 3 fakes. Boom. Now, was it the most realistic finish at the end? No, of course not. But the patience was brilliant. He can't change the way the animation looked. I mean, it was decently, but he can't change the way the animation looks, right? But that was brilliant stuff. Amazing patience there. He certainly knows how to play eFootball, without a doubt. At a level that's insane. Alright, so this is how he's trying to end it. Man, the movement is crazy. You can just tell he's played so many games to be able to move that quick in the menus like that. He respects his opponent too much to go all-out attack, if you notice.
The injection of energy that might disrupt the rhythm of their opponents. Brazil go into the lead. I just think this has been a lesson in character. Shot a goal! Really well taken goal. And surely that clinches it. There really is no way back now.
Unreal, guys. Just quickly ends it. Just like that.
Go into the lead. I just think this has been a lesson in character.
So what do you guys think happened there? Did he give up? Did he all but give up? Did he freeze? Let's watch. What was he expecting there? Let's watch. Beautiful move. What a ball. And this is Holland, guys. Look at all the fakes.
I just think this has been a lesson.
I mean, he literally froze up the defender. The defender was frozen.
And surely that clinches it. There really is no way back now.
He froze the defender.
Finish gorgeously controlled and ruthless.
Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. So when you watch that, and then you come to this, right? Obviously, I've been scored on because I was watching that game and stuff too. But when you watch that and then you watch this, obviously there's nowhere near the same level, right? But that's the beauty, is you can aspire to get there. So my biggest takeaways, all the super cancels are insane. He's constantly trying to create situations to mess up the to throw off the defenders. Just a little feints, right, with the fakes. Oh, see? It's hard to constantly do those, right? And then making decisions as you're doing. So it's just like his mind's moving 100 miles an hour. Now, here's the difference. I'm like what? If you look at hours, I'm literally 1 day into eFootball. If you look at by hours, like 24 hours is 1 day, right? Like I'm not even 24 hours in to being back with eFootball after my whole muscle memory is that of FC. So we're talking way different levels. You're talking some of the best players in the world at the top of the game. But it's still good because knowing what you're aspiring to get to and just taking little nuggets, right? So now the game's tied, getting later in the game, right? But this is the place to practice too, by the way. Right? This is the place to practice because what other time are you going to practice? Who cares about results as much? You know, obviously if you can, you want to win, but you got to get better at the game. You want to keep climbing, right? If you can't do it in these events, when can you do it? And there it is, the little fake. You notice how it stops the defenders. Just a little. And did I know that? Yes. But you need a refresher when you see it and you see how often they use those super white right here. Just that little bit of space from that super cancel. If not, a lot of players would have shot that. It might have been blocked. Boom. Now watch. Here it is. Turn. Just that little fake there. You saw Trent. You saw Trent, just a momentary freeze, and that's all I needed to create that little space where my shot wasn't going to get blocked. Didn't do any subs. Obviously, I got to get used to that part too, because I've been missing chances of sub. Tactically, eFootball's miles ahead of FC, and one of the things that you can do in FC is get away without subbing, right? Not only do you have to sub in eFootball, but a lot of times you have to make tactical adjustments before the game and at halftime, right? FC is literally built on just quickly getting in, quickly playing, quickly getting out, quick halftime, right? You have to make sure. So for me, even risking this cross without subbing out like my players that are dead tired can absolutely hurt you. Might as well try to go score another one if we can. That was silly. Tried some, didn't work. That's okay. We got the victory, and more importantly, we got some good practice in there. So when you watch games like that, man, for me it's just a huge motivator, right? And yes, FC players are more skilled overall, right? I'll stand on that hill. I'll die on that hill. I'll fight with you all day about it. But they're more skilled overall, but it's simply because eFootball hasn't attracted those highest skilled players because there's things like smart assist, right? Because there's not dynamic shooting where, like in FC, they call it precision shooting. Because you can't manually send players and call players with runs, right? You know, player lock even, which player lock's arguably like the most, like I get why many don't like it. But when the movement's so restrictive, and it is in eFootball just like FC, player lock's necessary. But since there's better gameplay, you can absolutely get by without player lock, but you need the ability to send your players and call them to when you want. Otherwise, the stupid play styles where possession, everyone comes to, or long ball counter, everyone runs away. It's very predictable. Now you can super cancel and call players too, super cancel send players, or send players by holding when give and goes when you're passing, and even R1 across the pitch. It's not the same though. It's not enough, right? And so there we go. It's now 7:43. So that ends, I believe this will be block 2. Yep. Now what I can't remember is how long is the Thursday. I think this goes until 3 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. I believe it goes till 3 a.m. Either way, I'll be here for it as soon as the game comes back. I'm glad I got to get that game in here because I was really wanting to go over that. I'm looking forward to the new update. Let's take a look real quick and see what we should expect, eh? So you guys let me know in the comment section if I ever miss any Pro Efootball's where I go. Philip Lahm. Decking the old Van de Ven card. Here's a player of the week's coming. What am I looking at? That Van de Ven looks good. How funny is that, guys? Did they put Osimhen down instead of Gyökeres, but they put Gyökeres' name? This is supposed to be Osimhen, or is it supposed to, or did they do the wrong picture or the wrong name? What do you guys think? That's definitely not Gyökeres. That's definitely not Gyökeres. Little mistakey. Bring back the old ratings. I already got a Vieira. Is this who's coming? It says concept. There's Osimhen. Huh. Tomorrow we receive Showtime Lewis Dunk. I'm top 77,000, so I think it's Carvajal that we get, right? So these aren't players. This is just a concept. I don't think these are coming. I could be wrong, though. Could be wrong. Man, that stinks. I was really looking forward to playing. But we definitely got top 100K. Ends in 12 minutes. Don't like creative playmaker on that one. Unwavering. Calafiori's unwavering. Nice double booster. Unwavering, so that's cool. Offensive fullback. Wonder what he's going to look like when he's all boosted. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at this. Well, that's the unfortunate thing. I was actually talking about that. That's the unfortunate thing about eFootball's defense is they're literally just pressing R1 or X. That's that speed burst they get where they run straight at the defenders. But really, it's knowing how to utilize the pressure and then timing it right is really what it is. Unfortunately, the manual side of defense just is not as skillful. But I just had watched a Jay Victor match. My boy Phil told me about him. He's one of the best in the world. Played another top pro, and he ended up beating him pretty handily, despite the blue being on his opponent being on double blue defensive setup. He had like a wall in front of the goal, and he did a decent amount of manual marking and stuff like that. But he's one of the best players in the world. A lot of times at, let's say, our level, let's just assume we're near each other, your opponent's not going to manually defend at all. Everything's going to be about having their defender in a good position and then sending an AI defender. But sometimes that can bite you in the ass if your opponent's good enough and quick with skill moves, especially with this smart assist stuff. You can get toyed with that way too. So it's really just combining your defense with using AI help and then using their overpowered, pressure system. But that's what they're doing. Most likely just holding R1 in combination with X against you. And they're all over the pitch getting you, and you just got to be quicker with your decision making. But once you're quicker with ball movement, you can punish them for running their players, out of position. All right, so if we go to that Carvajal, which one is he? This one. So if I do double booster, we'll give him defending. Capello. Max level. 9084. And then remember, he'll get a booster for being in your... Wait, why does that say 70? There it is. With the max. Double booster max. There it is. Interesting. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. He's no Thuram, obviously. I'm okay with physical contact. No, because I'd want that to be at 70. Speed, kicking power, stamina. Hmm. $90. I'd move that there. Shooting's already at 0. Acceleration. Lower body, aerial strength. Defending. Move that up. That's how I'd have it. Decent player. Wouldn't touch my starting lineup. Probably wouldn't even touch my bench. That's what they do with us with free players. So yeah, that's everybody. Well, for now that I care about. Like, obviously there's Lam in them, but that's everybody that I was worried about. And Carvalho's just going to be another player for events. We'll see who's to come. I don't think that Beckham and the boys like Vieira, that would be sick if they had a Vieira coming, but I already got Vieira, so that would kind of suck for me. You know, maybe a Beckham card if you're going for the meta as a right mid could be sick, serving those crazy balls across. Probably really good at those long diagonals too, or even just those ridiculous through balls that have been, you know, plaguing, I would say, the meta. If you watch, it's just those constant little diagonal through balls on the ground or in the air, a lot of times on the ground. But anyways, yeah, I will see you guys again after the update, whether it's super early in the morning or just here in a bit. I forgot. Let's take a look and ask. That's how long it's been since I played. I forgot how long I used to know this to a T for Sunday and Thursday. How long does eFootball Thursday maintenance last? Six hours. All right. Well, I'll see you in about 6 hours. Have a good one. Make sure you like if you enjoyed this stream and subscribe if you haven't already. More eFootball and all football content, news, everything else to come. Make sure you join the Discord if you haven't already. A lot of awesome people in there. We want your feedback. We want you part of the club. Peace out.